Well, good evening, friends. I'm Franky, and this is the Think Tank. And we've got Mexi.
Hello, guys.
So
Happy
we're going
Wednesday.
to happy Wednesday. We're going to try and do this every Wednesday, kind of a what the hell Wednesday, and our Saturdays when we can. So I think we're going to start with Leilani's indictment.
Yep.
Unreal.
About time. Well, it's not about time. It's just, she gets to spend all that time just kind of hanging out, enjoying her last days, drinking that tequila.
Right? Yeah.
You know.
Oyster bar, hanging out
Yeah.
with your mom. Yeah.
Hitting on the waiters. And now it's fun. It's good to see her, behind bars now and actually getting
Absolutely.
indicted is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the paperwork is it tells basically what they think has happened, and it's not nice. It's not. Hi, Dandy. So you have the video, do you not?
Yeah, let me unmute myself. Yes, the
Oh,
first video, which would be of her, it's just like a quick little thing about her getting indicted.
okay.
So let me share my screen.
You betcha. So there's a little bit on Dylan rounds when we're done this as well. I know that there was some interest shown there. So, and then it's basically, we'll wing it. Whatever you guys want to talk about is what we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just gonna play a quick little snippet just to make sure that everybody can hear it, and then I'll start it over and
Okay.
So you're gonna play.
Untimely.
You can hear it.
I can.
Baby boy Quentin Simon.
It's a little low.
Yeah.
Over these past few weeks, there have been photos and images.
All right, let's start it over. Expand. Let's do this.
And that is the sad and untimely death of 2-year-old baby boy Quentin Simon. Over these past few weeks, there have been photos and images that you might have seen of men and women hard at work, combing through heaps of trash, looking for just the smallest sign of what happened to baby Q, as he was affectionately known. When any person, particularly a child of tender years, is murdered, harmed, victimized, or goes missing in our community, it's a matter that calls our very humanity into question. These are the cases that keep us up at night. These are the cases that deserve justice. Before I begin, I would like to thank the fine members of law enforcement, particularly our Chatham County Police Department Police Chief, Chief Jeff Hadley. Thank you. If you'll join me here, I appreciate it. Um, and to the rest of his team, particularly the lead investigator on this case, Detective Lemons. Chief, I want to thank you for the hard work and dedication that you devoted to this case from the very beginning. Your department was boots on the ground, and you made this the highest priority for our county. You represented our county well, and we greatly appreciate it. To the men and women of the Chatham County Sheriff's Office, the GBI, the Department of Natural Resources, and every other, the FBI, of course, and every other law enforcement agency that devoted time, effort, and resources to searching for baby Quentin, we say thank you. These men and women worked very long hours, turning shifts for 6 weeks straight, working tirelessly and would not quit until Quentin's body was found. Were it not for their tireless efforts, we would not have been able to take the first step on the long road to justice as we have today. I'm standing here before you because earlier this morning, the sworn and impaneled members of our Chatham County grand jury returned a 19-count indictment against the mother of Quentin Simon, that is defendant Leilani Simon.
The volume went up
Defendant
there
Simon
nicely when
is
you did that.
charged in the indictment with one count of malice murder for the intentional killing or death of her son, Quentin Simon. She is also charged in counts 2 and 3 with felony murder in the death of her son. She is charged also with one count of concealment of the death of another in this indictment. And that is followed by several counts of giving false statements during the course of a police investigation. As your district attorney, I realize that this matter is really important to our community and also to the inquiring minds both here and beyond our community that want to know what happened to baby Quentin and how it happened. That curiosity is not lost on me. However, there's more evidence that may be revealed during the course of this investigation. And I say that to remind you all that this is an ongoing criminal investigation. As prosecutors, we are duty bound to preserve the judicial process by not making out of court statements about the case and by not releasing evidence in the case. I want you to know that this is not about hiding anything, and our goal is always to be transparent with the members of the public. However, it is very important that we preserve the sanctity of the judicial process. It is very important that we do that so that the evidence in this case, if this case should go to trial, can be heard by jurors who are selected from this community, the jurors, the citizens, and the people who are most impacted by the untimely death of Quentin Simon. But not revealing this evidence also ensures that the criminal proceeding remain fair, just, untainted, and that this case is not tried in the court of public opinion, but is resolved in a court of law. What that means is that while this case is of grave importance to our office, and we will devote every resource to making sure that this case is properly handled from beginning to end, it also means that we will not be responding to any open records requests or media questions about the facts and underlying circumstances and the evidence of the case. We all know that justice takes time, but it should be swift and sure and fair. We appreciate your time and patience with us in this matter as we continue to pursue justice for baby Quentin Simon and for the citizens of Chatham County. Thank you very much. Depends on what questions you have. The indictment has not been sealed as of yet. It is evidence that as of now, it is still a matter of public record. You can obtain a copy of that indictment from the office of the Superior Court Clerk.
I know there's only so much you can do, but from the evidence that you got a chance to look at, is there anything you can tell us that really stuck out to you? What was the most shocking to you from a community point of view?
Well, I would generally say, not about this case, but in general, whenever we have a death of a child of tender years, in this case, as I said, Quentin Simon was 2 years old, that's something that is just going to stick in your mind. As a prosecutor, that's something that keeps me up at night. And that is what's going to keep me and the rest of this office pursuing justice in this case.
So Lady Simon still has a petition to take her bond hearing to Superior Court. Is that something that surprises you, or is she agrees?
Well, I think that would be a better question that's reserved for her defense counsel. I am not surprised by any moves that the defendants do and don't make. My job is to make sure that we stand ready to respond to whatever move they make. And so should she request a bond hearing, my office will be ready.
You share with us why Mr. Joe will call this bill?
Can you repeat the question?
Did your wife really go to jail?
That's a separate legal matter that's still under investigation. I'm not at liberty to discuss that matter at this time.
You may not be able to answer this question because what result
What's the question?
what result
Are you asking what caused the contempt?
yes.
Again, that's a separate legal matter. I'm not at liberty to discuss that at this time.
In your course of prosecution here, you have 3 murder charges for one victim. Can you talk about it? Just explain to the general public why that happened, the difference in murder and then 2 counts of felony murder?
Prosecutors often develop different theories of a case and how a murder may or may not have occurred. It is not uncommon for us in murder cases, and you'll see this in our other indictments, to charge murder in a number of different ways. And as I said, as the evidence continues to evolve in this case and we get closer to trial, should we get there, we'll have more information about if any additional murder charges need to be filed or if they need to be changed in any way.
You say you're still gathering evidence. Talk about the confidence you have in the evidence you have right now.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't be standing here before you if I wasn't confident about the evidence that we have. We have more than sufficient evidence to bring the charges, and that's why we presented this case to grand jury. They actually believed us. They returned a true bill on the indictment. We're confident about that. But what makes me even more confident is that I get to rely on the hard work and evidence and investigation of Chief Hadley, his team, our law enforcement agencies. They collected copious amounts of evidence, and because of their fine investigative work, I feel very confident that we are about the position that we're in today. Well, I would say that the evidence that was produced by law enforcement, the good thing is that we had a number of different law enforcement agencies coming together and pooling their information and resources. I am very proud of the work of the lead detective on this case, who was absolutely solid from beginning to end. And that's something that you pick up when you're a prosecutor and examining evidence and case files and working with detectives. Also, we have one of our top-notch prosecutors. All of our prosecutors in this office are top-notch, but we have one of our top-notch prosecutors who specializes in these kinds of cases and crimes against children, who reviewed the case day and night. So, those kinds of things build our confidence in moving forward with the charge.
Do we have any information or update information about the boyfriend?
We have information about that, but again, that's not anything that I'm going to reveal right now, as I can't talk about the underlying facts and circumstances. I'm sorry, I wish I could. I know you want to know, but out of respect for the judicial process, I kind of have to keep my word on that. And also, I'd like to keep my bar license. So I appreciate your time and attention. Thank you for coming out this afternoon. We will continue to keep you posted as necessary. Thank you, and thank you to the citizens of Chatham County.
What do you think that suit's made out of? Velvet? Maybe? She looks like a winner. Like, she's ready. She's
Yeah,
gonna put on her Christian shoes and go kill it at court.
right. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on with this case right now.
Yep.
Thanks for grabbing that for me.
Yeah. Took me a second, but I found it.
Yes. So this is the indictment. I thought cashmere. Cashmere. So I thought we would go through this paperwork. It's very revealing, sadly. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, so we've got here the state of Georgia versus Leilani Marie Simon. Witness, Marion Lemons, Chatham County Police Department. Offenses, malice, murder, felony murder, 2 counts, concealing the death of another, false reporting of a crime, and making false statements, 14 counts. Signed by the foreperson, the Chatham County Superior Court, and the clerk of the Superior Court. Okay, so murder and concealing the death of another. In the name of and on behalf of the citizens of the state of Georgia, charge and accuse Leilani Marie Simon.
Scroll up a little bit because those are juror names. So like scroll up a bit so you don't see that part.
Okay, there we go. Oh, they've already got that far.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, good
Definitely
catch.
cover that up.
Going.
There you go.
My version of redaction. Scroll. So, okay. Let's see here. Okay, with the offense of malice murder for the the said Leilani Marie Simon in the county of Chatham and state of Georgia on or about the 5th day of October 2022 did unlawfully with malice aforethought cause the death of her son, Quentin Simon, a human being, in the matter unknown to the grand jury at this time. Contrary to the laws of the state of Georgia, the good order, peace, and dignity, therefore, thereof. And the jurors aforesaid, the name and on behalf of the citizen of the state of further charges, accuse Leilani Marie Simon with the offense of felony murder for that, oh my goodness, the jumble mumble. For that, said Leilani Marie Simon in the county of Chatham and state of Georgia, or on and about the 5th day of October 2022, did commit the offense of aggravated assault, in that the accused made an assault upon the person of her son, Quentin Simon, with an object that, when used offensively against a person, did result in serious bodily harm, the nature of the object being unknown to the grand jury at this time, as the accused did in the commission of the offense cause Quentin's death, contrary to the laws of the state of Georgia. Count 3, the juror, I'm just going to bypass all that stuff. With the offense of felony murder for that the said Leilani Marie Simon in the county of Chatham, state of Georgia, on the 5th day of October 2022, did commit the offense of cruelty to a child in first degree in violation of OCGA. The accused did maliciously cause her son, Quentin Simon, a human being, child under the age of 18, cruel and extensive physical pain in a manner unknown to the grand jury. Count 4, concealing the death of another, that the said Leilani Marie Simon in the county of Chatham County did, on the 5th of October, did unlawfully conceal the death of her son Quentin by discarding him in a freaking dumpster at a Zayla motorhome plaza, which hindered the discovery of whether Quentin was unlawfully killed. Okay, count 5. I'm just going to read these. Did willfully and knowingly give a false report of the crime to the Chatham County Police Department, a law enforcement agency of the state, by implying that Quentin Simon had been abducted by an unknown intruder. Count 6, making a false statement on about the 5th day of October, did knowingly and willfully make a false statement to the Chatham County Police Department. So by having admitted that she left her home in the late hours of October 4th to meet her DRUG dealer falsely stating that the purpose of this meeting was to pay for the existing debt, contrary to the laws, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof. So this woman, all of her kids, she had cocaine in her system while she was pregnant and delivering. Making a false statement, did knowingly and willfully make a false statement by falsely stating that the only controlled substance of which she had a regular use was Mary Jane, contrary to the laws.
I have a
Count-
question.
Okay.
So you just said that because I had never heard that she had drugs in her system while she was
Yeah.
in labor or while
Each child that she
Ah.
had that stuff in her system.
Is that why DCFS got involved or?
I'm sure that's a big part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's you can find that in all sorts of different spots, but it's mortifying, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, like and again, just my opinion, but I've heard a lot of stories of women who frequently get pregnant and all those times there's drugs in their system. Kids are, born addicted or have heroin in their system, and
Mm-hmm.
they continuously have children taken away from them, and
Mm-hmm.
they adopted out. Thankfully, they go to good families, but this person continues to have children. They continue to be taken from them.
Yeah.
I really think you should get there should be a tube tying law or something. There would people 3, that's enough. Snip, I don't know. There's so many kids in the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's overwhelming. I mean, there's not enough good families to take these kids, and
Oh my word.
that's
Yeah. This is just blowing me away. It sounds like she beat him up with an object. Oh my word. It makes you want to barf
He's
in
such
your
a
mouth.
baby. He was
And adorable.
And he can't fight back. He's just helpless. And this freaking monster.
Absolutely.
That's the word I was looking for, Dandy. Forced sterilization.
Yeah. Absolutely. When this stuff happens, I do not understand, because it seems they do this. It's not generally, they'll do it with each child. They will abuse each child. And they have to go through, at birth, they have to go through withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that? Your first experience at life is having DTs?
Yeah. I mean, that's the damage that it can cause physically to the child and its development as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't. They should immediately be arrested, put away. Well, first take them to the forced sterilization.
Yeah, take them to the hospital, get things tied up.
And I know that sounds harsh, but it kind of really just makes me angry to see that there's. And I've seen it. I've actually heard of this. I've seen them. I do this. I'm in the field, so a woman has 5 kids, and every single one of them has been taken away, put into the system, and adopted, and she continues to have kids. It's
absolutely. Or the ones that get pregnant before they go in. They know that they're going in. Chances are really good. They're going in, and the first thing they do is get themselves knocked up. So then you've got a pregnant woman. They're going to still throw your ass in jail. That's not going to stop them. There was a case years and years ago, and Diane Downs, she killed her kids for a guy. And she ended up escaping somehow and got herself knocked up again. So back in
Jesus.
jail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Just disturbing. Okay, did we do? Yeah, we did count 8, which is
She made a lot of
life.
false statements.
Oh, she
I'm
did.
so glad they're like counting those as individual counts. They're just like, oh no, you remember that one time you also lied? Yeah, we're counting
Right.
that one. Uh, get
It's
her.
saying here
She
that
refused
she falsely stated only controlled substance she had and used in the past 24 hours was marijuana. And sounds like that was a lie. Yeah.
Right. The tests have shown that that is a lie. We should get a Jerry
Exactly.
Springer thing going.
Well, even look at how bombed up they were, especially Billy
Yes.
Joe. Like she was gritting her teeth and doing like every sign that is out there that she was playing with that stuff
Well,
still.
there's that video of them as like a family. Like, were they sitting out front of the house? They brought out their lawn chairs.
Oh, they did. Yep.
A couple of cold ones.
Yeah.
We're just
Yep.
smoking cigarettes, and she
Sat
looked
there.
gone. Leilani looked gone.
She did. Yeah, she did. Yeah, they were sitting there, what, to heckle the hecklers?
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So, making a false statement by having admitted that she left her home in the early morning hours of October 5th, falsely stating that the purpose of that trip was to meet my friend Misty to obtain Oragel, a topical pain reliever from Misty, and that on this trip she accused had in fact met Misty at a Chevron station and had obtained Oragel from her.
That's
So
just,
what?
can't you just get that over the counter?
Yeah.
So why do you have to go meet a whole person
Right? Exactly.
to get oral gel?
She's got a lot of false. This is all basically false statements.
They're
And
like hanging out in the alleyway, like looking
yeah,
all shady, and they're like cop show up. They're like, "What are you doing? Just giving her some oral gel." Like,
yeah, yeah.
whatever.
And count 10 is also making a false statement that in the early morning hours of October 5th, she had in fact traveled to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza and there had discarded her son Quentin in a dumpster.
Wow.
Falsehoods on October 8th, having admitted that she had left her home to meet her DRUG dealer in the late night hours of October 4th, falsely stating that the purpose of this meeting was to pay an existing debt. Count 12, false statement that on the night of October 4th, she had used controlled substances contrary to the laws. Count 13, false statement, falsely stating that the purpose of the trip was to meet her friend Misty, to get Oragel from Misty, and that on the trip the accused had in fact met Misty. Okay, I don't understand. Those sound very much the same, but false statement, count 14, that in the early mornings of October 5th at the Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, she had discarded her son Quentin Simon in a dumpster. Falsehood, counts 15, having admitted that she left her home in the early morning hours, traveled. Why is this? Back to the pain relievers or a gel, have admitted discarding something in the dumpster. Okay, making a false statement, count 16, by having admitted that she had discarded something in the dumpster at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza in the early morning hours of October 5th, falsely stating that she had just discarded some normal household garbage. Count 17, did willingly and knowingly conceal that in the early morning hours of October 5th at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, she had discarded her son Quentin Simon in the dumpster, contrary to laws. Making another false statement, count 18, falsely stating that it was not the accused, but rather Daniel Youngkin, who had traveled away from home in the early morning hours of October 5th, 2022. She blamed everybody.
She pointed fingers at every single
Oh, she did.
everybody but her.
Yep. Count 19, having once again admitted that she, not Daniel Youngkin, had left the home in the early morning hours of October 5th and traveled to the home plaza, and having admitted that she had had no contact with her friend Misty, falsely stating that she did not remember what she had done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I see what they did here. I thought maybe these were different dates, but they're literally, it's like they're sitting down one time with her having a conversation. She would say, "Oh, when I met my friend Misty."
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what I was doing. I was talking to this drug dealer to get something, right? And then it was, oh no, I wasn't doing that. Daniel went by himself. Like, so they just like kept getting her on the same lie over. It's just that she changed the lie.
Yeah.
It sounds like 20 times. 20 times.
Oh yeah, like she blamed everybody. Unreal. She blamed Daniel. Hi, AJ. She blamed Daniel, and then she blamed the baby daddy. She blamed, she just everybody, everything. She did nothing. The front door was open. He got out. Maybe he fell in the pool. Maybe, like, just everything. And it's literally sounding like she beat him up with an object.
Did they say if the autopsy report was completed yet?
I didn't see it in there. I didn't see it in there.
Because I did notice that on the specific charge on felony murder,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does say that there was an object used and the nature of the object is unknown to the grand jury at this time.
Yeah.
And they say that twice, also in the manner
Mm-hmm.
unknown to the grand jury at this time.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that means that the prosecution doesn't yet know either, or that they just didn't divulge that piece of information, like with the object, and then also
Right.
To
Yeah.
the jury.
I'm just seeing in here cruel and excessive physical pain in a manner unknown to the grand jury. And then the other one said Quinton's accused did make an assault upon the person of her son, Quinton Simon, with an object that when used offensively against a person did result in seriously bodily injury, the nature of the object being unknown to the grand jury.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they know, like, there has to be something that you can physically see that you would say, oh, this wasn't like no drowning, no accident, right? Because I mean, with drownings, you wouldn't really have physical abnormalities. But it sounds like they know for sure that he was struck. Like, so that has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we also have like what's been going on with Billy Joe, right? Now she's in the Hooskow. What a family.
And that's because of the other children, right? Like failure to appear, or so it has nothing to do with Quinton.
Something separate.
So
let's see.
So it's on the other kids, right?
That's my guess. Let's see here. I'll see what this says. The grandmother of deceased Georgia toddler Quinton Simon, whose remains were found in a Savannah landfill last month, and whose mother was arrested and charged with his death, has been arrested according to online records. The arrest of Billy Joe Betterton, 45, I thought she was older than that, is not related to her grandson's death. The nature of these charges against her was not clear on the records from the Chatham County Sheriff's Office. No bond was set. According to the online records, it was not immediately clear whether Betterton has retained a lawyer. Betterton's mugshot shows her wearing a Did you notice that? The suicide prevention smock?
Yup.
Oh.
Mhm.
The public information officer for the Chatham County Sheriff's Office confirmed. Parker declined to elaborate, citing federal privacy requirements that protect inmates' health information. Parker directed additional questions about the arrest to Chatham County Juvenile Court. Officials with the juvenile court would not immediately be reached for comment, and court records related to the arrest were not immediately available online. Wonder if they are now. A spokesman for the Chatham County Police Department said the department was not involved in making this arrest. She was arrested 2 weeks after the FBI Atlanta Division identified the remains in the Superior landfill in Savannah of those of her toddler grandson through DNA analysis after remains were found November 18th. Cause of death has not been determined. Leilani, Quentin's mother, 22, was arrested November 21st, charged with malice murder, concealing the death of another person, false reporting, and making false statements. Her next hearing is set for January 11th, and if they are showing it, I will be showing it. So it does look like not looking to be compensated, just want them to move out as quick as possible. That was when she was trying to remove Leilani and her boyfriend out of the house. I guess they were doing quite a bit of damage. The notice was served to Simon and her boyfriend a little over a week later. Quentin's mother then reported him missing October 5th from the home, unincorporated part of the Chatham County near Savannah. So it says, wow, it did draw widespread attention and law enforcement response, including more than 40 FBI agents who spent 30 days sifting through 1.2 million pounds of trash. Oh my God, man.
Those guys deserve a bonus, fruit baskets. I don't know what you send people for thank you. They worked, man. That's tough being out there.
Yeah. Well said, Dandy. I agree with you. I think they just will give what they have to until they're forced. We don't want Leilani to get out of this. I mean, she'll just get pregnant and do it all over again. You know, she's got 2 other kids already. And I mean, life happens where you end up with different baby daddies. I understand that. But I think that a lot of it is her addictions and narcissistic personality, in my opinion, that allows you to put your child second.
Daniel took a deal.
Oh. That's interesting, Dandy.
You know, because I always did find that weird. Because Daniel was the one that would do the whole setup for the kids' babysitter in the day, right?
Yeah.
So he would get up, he would call or text the babysitter across the street, or maybe he just dropped him off. I think he made a statement saying that he had looked in the playpen or in the crib, and he was there sleeping, and then Leilani was the one that told him, "Hey, like, can you not gonna need the babysitter today?"
Yeah.
And he leaves, but there's no way that he wouldn't have known that there was something wrong, because if that's just completely out of the normal, like, she always gets a babysitter, why today is she just like, "Oh, it's fine, I'm good"? And was Quentin really in the playpen or crib?
Exactly. And Leilani should never have had that child without another adult in that home. You know, if
Oh,
there's
no.
other people like the brother and he's doesn't have 1,000 different
Yeah.
felonies but the biggest thing is Billy Joe left these children with a mother that they had been taken away from.
Yes, exactly.
That
Yeah.
doesn't fly.
And I just also in that article that you were just reading, didn't they all like live in the same house, right?
They sure
Grandma,
did, yeah.
Leilani, Daniel. So they
The
had to call up the cops to like serve an eviction notice. Like, wouldn't you just like
Yeah,
walk over to Leilani and be like, "Hey, you gotta go."
you
Like,
got it.
you
Yeah,
gotta
and she
go.
wouldn't leave. They refused to leave. And it was about
That's just so weird because I think like at some point, like me, if I just kept telling you to leave and I didn't want to get cops involved, if I kept telling you to leave and
yeah.
you didn't,
Mhm.
I would take your shit and throw it outside.
Oh,
Be like,
right?
change the locks. I was like, I told you to get the fuck out. I told you to leave a
Yeah.
long time ago. You have no yeah.
Unless it was
Sorry.
doing something like that was gonna make it physical in front of the kids.
Yeah, good point.
That would be the only thing. Now, where is Daniel? Now,
Daniel's been having a hard time. That's where
mhm,
Daniel is. Daniel is he lost his dad, right?
mhm.
And he lost his mom.
Oh, not Daniel. No, baby dad, Bubba.
Oh,
Bubba.
but
Yeah, Bubba is
oh,
Quentin's dad.
so I can see
I know.
many
Yeah,
names.
and then the
Uh,
newest one.
that
Well,
guy, he like dipped out of town and went and go play pool in like a different state, right?
yeah, he went to a
That's
buddy's
Daniel.
house. Just
Yeah.
gone. Yeah. So, does anyone think that Daniel took a deal? I think there's a really good possibility.
I think there's something Daniel knows,
Yeah,
which would be in like a probable cause warrant that I haven't found.
yeah, yeah. It could be sealed right now too, right? So, just out of
Well,
curiosity, guys, um, I've got some stuff ready on Dylan Rounds. I know it was brought up last time we did a live. So, if you guys are interested, we can bring that up. And if not, is there anything else you guys want to look at? Because we're open to suggestions. The what the hell Wednesday.
I'm not too familiar with Dylan Rounds. I know all the basics, like
Yeah,
the hot topics, the what's important stuff.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
there was like a point in time where mom she started doing a lot more interviews with
She did.
YouTube, and she actually really started to clear up a lot of things. I know for a while she was doing interviews and she was like lying almost. There were certain things that it's obvious now. At the time I really couldn't tell, but
Mm-hmm.
that she was trying not to say certain things or keeping certain things away, like just changing the narrative of the story of certain little details or facts. Because
Right.
I guess like the cops had been telling her to not say anything, just keep everything to herself. But
Oh, exactly.
once she
Exactly.
decided to just kind of let it all out, that's when I started paying attention again. I'd like, and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of really good info came out when she, came back out
Oh,
and started being.
well, they had gone like months and months, and Box Elder was not telling them a damn thing. And Box Elder did do a bunch of major screw ups.
Mhm.
So she just basically thought, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to talk and we will get information. So her coming out, I mean, it has made a difference.
And I'm slipping on her name right now.
Candace?
Candace. Okay, Candace. So reflecting on different cases, Candace,
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee's dad. I feel like they have kind of the same fire in them.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot of stamina to fight for her
Yeah.
kid. Yeah, absolutely. She did. Yeah, she started coming out. She's the one that told us about where the phone was. She's the one that told us literally that they were sitting there just the first few days, sitting there talking to the cops, doing whatever, and they watched James Brenner clean out that
Mhm.
truck like spick and span and clean out that shed right in
Yeah.
front of the cops' eyes.
Well, this dude had an active federal warrant.
Yes, he did.
Active.
Yeah. And the
And
cops
they
were
never
over.
arrested him.
The reason that they did not search harder near that dirt pile where they found Dylan's boots and what have you is because they did not want to disturb Jim.
Oh, yes, because Jim was getting annoyed
Yeah.
with all the searchers and like the
Yeah.
little hub, the in and out. He didn't like that.
No, I mean,
The
that's
guy
terrible. The guy with the
the
warrant.
active federal warrant
Yeah.
did not want to be disturbed.
Yeah. So we'll just that case, I mean, you've got everybody from the Wadsworths. Now, that crew, oh my God. You guys, I did do quite a bit on Dylan Rounds. So the playlist is there. I did do one basically on the people that were just kind of just in the perimeter of his life. And oh my God, that kid, however he ended out in the middle of that freaking desert alone, he had nothing but extremely, extremely dangerous people
Yeah.
directly around him. Yeah. Very violent people, all with, I mean, attempted murders and oh my goodness. That's right, Dandy.
Mhm.
She got away from social media. She was doing it at first, and then Jim Terry went at her like
Yeah.
hard, and she got out of there. She just stayed away, and then she ended up meeting, just basically getting in with some other people that work on social media that were not out to attack her, and she did start doing more interviews. She just kind of found her place to
Mhm.
be able to go out there. 'Cause she should never have been attacked.
And I think AJ said something earlier, like when she first was doing interviews,
Mhm.
she was cold. There was something,
Yeah.
she didn't come off very favorable, and that shouldn't even be a thing. I mean, she's a mother missing her job,
Yeah.
but you couldn't like empathize, or not empathize, but
It was harder when you've got someone that's angry.
yeah, like I couldn't connect with her. I guess that would be like the best
Yeah.
word, like to
Yeah.
describe the way she
Yeah.
was. And then one day, they interviewed her, and you could tell on her face that she had been crying, like, because she
Yeah.
had just found out something really important about Box Elder had messed up something. They had put something into the site listed as evidence or something like that,
Oh,
right?
yes. Yeah. Yeah. They made a massive screw up. They put out information that should never have been put out.
Right, exactly. While meanwhile, they're telling her not to say anything, yet they're putting
Yeah, they're putting
this
out major
information on
stuff.
the site, like, but
Uh,
she was you could tell she was crying.
mhm.
Her face was red, her voice was cracking, but
Yeah.
she pulled it together, and she,
Yeah.
like, her feist came out at the same time, and I don't know, I started kind of really liking her since then.
Yeah, she's been a great advocate for her son.
Yeah.
Like her, dislike her, because I mean,
Oh, yeah, I'm always
she's
gonna side
kind
with
of
her regardless of my feelings. I'm gonna side with her.
yeah. And yeah, she's got that side, but not all of us show
react.
that emotion that
Yeah.
everybody expects.
Right. People react to things differently,
Yeah.
show emotions differently.
So going through trying to get in, like, just kind of set up, guys, there's not been a lot recently, which
Yeah.
is sad. Nothing has changed, so I can go back to this, but it's heartbreaking.
Mhm.
One of the things that just blow me away, I think I said this on another stream, there is over 7,000 mine shafts around the Montello area. And everybody, when they're looking for him, they're thinking that someone dug a hole and put him under the
Right.
ground.
Why
That
do
makes,
the work when it's already dug for you?
yeah, it makes, and a lot of them, I mean, you can't even go and search because you either lose oxygen or you run into something like H2S. So if he is down one of those mine shafts, that's where you're not going to find him.
Yeah. Unless
You
there's
know?
a confession that, without a doubt they can tell you that they're there. And
And
maybe,
even still,
maybe we could
yeah,
send out like one of those like mechanical robot
yeah,
with
one of
the
those line ones.
yeah. But man, some of
Mhm.
those shafts are like 100 plus in narrowing spaces that open up and then like
Oh,
dislodged things in the they're super dangerous. I mean,
well, and a lot of them, I mean, they're old. So
yes,
things
yeah,
are falling apart. They're rickety. Animals that go in there, like,
yeah, I don't want to meet them.
no,
I
no.
don't want to meet
So,
them
I
in
mean,
close space. Oh my god.
so I think, okay, they've got Brenner, which basically, I mean, in my opinion, he's done this. But I'm not quite sure that he didn't have help disposing,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've got a couple, in my opinion, I mean, Dawn is big
Yeah, they were like
for
best
more than one
buddies,
reason.
weren't they?
Pardon
Like,
me?
weren't they like best buddies?
Yeah, they were friendly. They were absolutely friendly. So I'm definitely, I mean, he's on my radar. And you know what? Chase Benstra is also another guy that's kind of on my radar due to the fact that he did get a ride out to Dylan's trailer that Saturday. And as to why, we're not sure. How about I read this ad and it'll help, or this article, and maybe it'll kind of put a couple things into perspective. So he was 19 when he went missing, and that was May 28th, 2022. The teenage farmer was last heard from when he called his grandmother when he was working in the town of Lucin. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen Lucin. It's a spot. It's like a dot on the map. It's a ghost town. Like, he's just basically, it's a sign. It's a road sign. So volunteer searchers believe he may have been killed and then hidden. Oh, look at this, in one of the unmarked mine shafts. Now, that's the first time I've seen that. So nobody knows what happened to Dylan after the phone call, and he was reported missing 2 days later after the property was searched and a pair of, okay, they say bloody boots. There was one drop, and it does sound like it ended up coming back to Dylan, but it wasn't like, his boots were not like all yucky. There was like one drop, and they were dumped behind a dirt pile that was not far
Yeah, like
from,
100 yards from the
yeah,
green truck.
exactly. His truck was parked next to his trailer and had been pressure washed. The driver's seat was moved forward, and the key fob was missing. The truck was locked. His pistol was missing from his trailer, and no tracks of footprints were on the ground. Very few leads have come up, but a man named Lance Kelly has been searching for him for months, and he spoke to the son. He happened to meet Dylan's father and spoke with him on the topic before deciding to start searching the Nevada desert with his friend. Both belonged to the fire department at one time. Lance and his friend have spent every single day searching. They do have a channel, and it's Earthworm or
Yeah.
Earthworm
Something like that, like
Entertainment.
Earthworm Entertainment.
Whether Dylan is dead or alive has not been revealed, but his mother has stated she believes someone murdered her son. She explained that he wanted to start his own farm and spent years working on his own land getting water rights. So these are the suspects. While nobody has been charged, there have been suspects linked to the case. The bloody boots and the location of Dylan's phone may give investigators clues. So a lot of this stuff is stuff that Candace did reveal. So both pieces of evidence appear to point at a man named James Brenner, 59, one of the two men who are believed to have contact with Dylan before he went missing. And the other man's name is Chase Venstra, 41, who has been arrested on unrelated felony gun crimes. And that's the same thing with James. Both of them, they like their guns. Police are treating Dylan's disappearance as a homicide investigation, and his parents believe Brenner knows what happens. His mother even stated that Brenner admitting to putting Dylan's boots by the dirt pile. She said he found them, picked them up, and set them by his trailer, but then decided for some reason Dylan wasn't coming back for them, so he threw them in the dirt pile. Dylan's phone was found at the bottom of a pond in June. So this is something, again, that Candace revealed. His call records show he called Brenner that day he went missing. So when Dylan's phone went missing in this pond, Brenner was pinged and was also at that pond. Brenner wasn't interviewed by police until June 7th, 10 days after Dylan spoke with his grandmother. Brenner's trailer was searched by the FBI, where they found ammunition, ignition caps, and black powder, things he should have nothing to do with. He's not allowed near anything relating to firearms. Dylan's parents have stated that the truck appeared to be tampered with, but police didn't seem to care. They said the missing key fob for the truck appeared to have been brought back, and it was placed in Dylan's trailer. Again, didn't seem to matter to the investigators. Dylan told his family about a man walking barefoot down a gravel road near his farm. He was acting erratically, asking to use his phone for a ride. Dylan declined to give him a ride, which is not the case. He did give him a ride, and that guy was Chase Venstra. Box Elder County, Utah. Sheriff's Office says the case is credible. They say they're doing what they can to locate Dylan and to protect the integrity of the case. So let's see here.
Where did that say that Jim Brenner found the boots? Did it say where he found the boots to begin with?
Yeah, they were originally by the shed, they say, the grain shed.
And
So-
we know for sure that the grain truck, because that was Dylan's sole purpose for even being there.
Yeah.
Put the grain truck into the shed.
Yes.
We know that the grain truck was in the shed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the grain truck was there, and just no Dylan. It was starting to rain, and he had
right.
It was starting to rain, and he had all that seed in the back of the truck. So he wanted to basically take it in. What they're thinking is that for whatever reason, there was a fence.
Right, the gated fence to get. So the property
Mhm.
where this grain shed was
Mm-hmm.
and where Jim Brenner's trailer sat was somebody else's property.
Right. That Dylan was in the process of buying.
Is that, well, I'm gonna say possibly, because I don't know for sure I
Mhm.
think it's mentioned that he would
Yeah,
work there in the
Candace.
future.
Yeah, Candace had said that Dylan was in the middle of talking with the fellow that owns that property.
And the owner
Which
was
was,
cool with him, right? With him using the shed, like
oh yeah,
specifically to do that.
oh absolutely, yeah, yeah. It was never a problem, but for some reason, see, Brenner had bought, or not bought. He ended up with this horse, and the horse would take off. So he put up this kind of like barbed wire fence, and I don't know if you guys have seen them. They're just like a couple of like pecker poles, is what we would call them, with this barbed wire. And you usually just throw like a piece of wire over top, link them together. Easy to put down, easy to put back up. For some reason, this had a lock on it. Brenner had put a lock on this. So Dylan had to contact him and have him come unlock it. And I can't, I don't think it's for sure that Brenner actually did that, or if Dylan actually put it down himself and drove over it.
Well, then,
So
I guess
Brenner
I'm
was
going to
just
mention
not happy.
real quick. I'm going to mention like another creator.
Mhm.
No Thanks does interviews, a lot of interviews with Candace.
Candace goes on that show quite often, yeah.
And you guys go look it up. Watch the interviews with Candace if you're looking to get
Yeah,
info on Dylan.
yeah.
Because I'm more than sure, and this happened when my computer crashed, so I lost all my notes. But I am more than sure that she had said that that was the first time that Dylan had ever even tried to use that shed.
Yeah, he either had only done it a couple of times. I know it was it was just due to the rain. He had just bought
Yeah.
that seat, so he never really had to before.
Because
And
there was like speculation that maybe that Dylan had a key to that gate, that pecker pole gate,
right.
or if he always had to call somebody to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I remember correctly, I think Candace said that was the first time he had ever had to. So he would never have had to have called
No,
the owner
no,
or Brenner,
no. He already had arrangements with the owner, but James Brenner, with whatever goes on in his twisted mind, didn't want anybody around, including Dylan. So yeah, he was. James Brenner has like a snap temper. He's known for shooting at people. He's known.
Yeah, because there's like those crystal caves or something, right? I think Dandy might know. Like some kind of crystal cave that's like right by there that he's been reported at shooting at people that are going there because it's like kind of close to the property.
Are you talking about the sun tunnels?
Yes,
Yeah.
those things. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, he's just, there's nothing normal about Brenner. Nothing normal about a lot of those guys out there. Yeah, AJ, you're right. They say he was on camera at a pizza place.
That's Chase, right?
That's Chase. Yeah, he's in another town that's about an hour and a half away, and I think it was a Pizza Hut that they caught him on.
Did he catch the buffet? I haven't been. Pizza Hut for real though has like they used to have like the coolest lunchtime buffets. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's nostalgic.
Nostalgic, yeah. Right? Yeah, so I agree with AJ. It does not clear him in my mind because Dylan was moving this stuff early in the day. It was like 8:30 in the morning.
It was like
So there was plenty of time for him to have helped Brenner do whatever had to be done and then make it to this place. There was plenty of time. So we'll see. He's still in jail. He's still sitting in the Hooskow. And a lot of times they will just charge you with certain things just to hold you until they've got everything kind of figured out. Let's see here. I don't think he's in a mine shaft. It's so dry. There would be vehicles going off-road, leave very noticeable tire tracks. Oh, okay. I thought it was kind of like a hard ground.
I think it's like kind of like a mixture of like clay and sand, something like that. And it's also like really unforgiving. So if it's like a windy day,
Okay.
that it would just like immediately clear over. Yeah, no thanks.
Right there. No thanks. Yeah, no thanks. He's usually on about
Every day.
yeah, it's
And
7.
he actually had a recent interview with Candace today, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, check it out. Check it out. Mexi, what channel did you say? We got it. We got it. Yeah, pecker poles.
So I used to think, like my working theory was going on Jim Brenner's temper. It's 6 a.m. He gets a phone call from Dylan. It's like, yo, what the hell? Like, why is this gate even locked? Can you like open it? Because that would also explain the call that he made to the actual owner of the property. Because he called them that very same morning, I think. Left a voicemail.
Did he? That's the
Yeah,
first I've heard of it.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I thought that maybe like Jim Brenner did get up, go up there to the gate, angry something happened, and maybe he shot him or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
with Brenner, I honestly don't think it would take much. It didn't take much for him to shoot you.
yeah,
He just
for God's sakes, he like beat an elderly citizen
yes.
with a
Yes.
chair.
Yeah.
Like it's WWE or something. He was like just
Oh yeah, absolutely. No self-control when it comes to his temper.
No.
So this here I just put up. Now, East Idaho News is usually where you will find everything. They do all their interviews on East Idaho News. This guy's worth checking out. He is the only interviews they gave for the longest time.
Royal Theaters have been proud to call the Bank of Commerce our business partner for the last 8 years. We've built our entire business on family entertainment. That's why they're the only bank we'll ever need. The Bank of Commerce, our bank of a lifetime.
Been talking to Cooley and Justin Rounds today. These are Dylan Rounds' parents. It's been several months since he disappeared right before Memorial Day. And his parents are here today because they want to talk about some new developments on them and also raise awareness that he is still missing.
Yes.
6-7 months later now?
5
months.
So I just want to say, these guys, I'm sure they've got their differences, but they have absolutely decided to work as a team for Dylan. And that's important.
Okay. Thanks for coming in, you guys. Candace, let's just start right from the beginning. Right before Memorial Day, that weekend, Dylan calls his grandmother, says he has to get the grain truck inside the shed because it was going to start to rain, to pick it up from there.
So then he was going to call her back and nobody heard from him. So that's when by Monday we had all touched on base on May 30th that morning and nobody had heard from Dylan, and that's when we all headed to the farm. So that was the last contact that day. So when we got out there, called Box Elder, made a missing persons report. Search and rescue came out, a couple officers, and that's when maybe an hour and a half into the search, that's when his boots were found behind the dirt pile.
And on the boots was blood. Random place to find boots.
Correct. We now know how the boots got there.
Can you tell us?
Brenner has admitted he's the one who took the boots out there.
So James Brenner was a man squatting on nearby property, correct?
On the same property the grain shed's on.
On the same property of the grain shed. James and Dylan knew each other.
Correct.
Friends?
He'd work for him off and on.
Acquaintances.
Yeah,
And kind of became
acquaintances.
somewhat
Yeah.
friends.
Okay. So James has since told you guys,
Told law enforcement.
told law enforcement that he put Dylan's boots there.
Correct.
How did he get Dylan's boots?
So he said he found him by the shed, picked him up, moved him by his camper somewhere, and then decided that Dylan wasn't coming back for them. Those
Yeah, that makes no
and
sense.
Dylan hadn't been there in almost a month. He was over working in Independence Valley and on the Wine Cup. Dylan had not been to Lucin. And
Sorry, what was that, Mexi?
That just makes no sense. Like, he's like, I found him by the shed, like the shed where his truck was with all his
Yeah,
seed. And
yeah.
I just, that's not weird to you already. A farmer with no boots. And then, and then you just take it upon yourself to say, nah, he's not coming back.
Yeah,
More
just
like
don't
you
let him-
knew he wasn't coming back.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot learned about Brenner, and he is the furthest thing from freaking stable.
Brenner had said he hadn't seen Dylan in months, a month, somewhere in that timeline. Those boots were not in that desert during that rainstorm on Friday. Those boots
No, they
didn't even have dust on them. I bet you when Brenner put them
Or
there,
mud.
or mud, it was Monday when he knew we were coming out and he had to get rid of them.
Okay, so back up a little bit. He said he found the boots by his shed.
By the shed.
by the
grain
shed
truck-
that was there, and that he hadn't seen Dylan in a month, so he needed to just get rid of them. Or move
pick them up and move them twice. And then
Move. So that he
Yeah.
moved them from the shed area to behind the dirt pile.
he moved them twice from the shed area to by his camper, I guess, and then
So Dylan had said Dylan had called my mom at roughly around the gate.
yes,
Is where the phone pinged. Right after that, he called
Brenner.
And Brenner had said he'd been at his place all day Friday and
Saturday.
all day Saturday until 2:30. And he went to a barbecue
And never seen Dylan.
and never saw anyone. And Dylan's phone was shown pinging at the grain shed and then went back to Dylan's on Saturday
camper.
and then came back to Jim's and then left and went all the way to the Lucin Pond, and that's where we found Dylan's phone.
Was in the
Was in
pond.
Lucin Pond.
Okay, so the first kind of big development that you're sharing is that the boots, Brenner has told law enforcement that the boots,
So yeah, he moved the boots from the trailer to his from the shed to his trailer, from his trailer to the dirt pile. And then Dylan's phone went from the grain shed back to Dylan's, back to Brenner's, and then to the Lucin Pond, which Brenner says he was at that day.
he put the boots out by the dirt pile.
Yeah.
The second thing that you just said, Justin, is that Dylan's phone was found in the pond.
Yes.
Yes.
Lucin Pond.
Oh. Okay then. So there he is. That's James Brenner.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't make sense, Bluffton. What he is trying to say, it's super strange. Like,
So the gun and the key fob. This is another thing that's absolutely dumbfounding. So Cooley and Round say they were also worried about someone entering Dylan's trailer after he disappeared and placing one of his guns along with the key fob to the to the truck inside of the trailer. When his parents visited the property Monday after Dylan disappeared, they searched that camper. And they did. They looked for that gun everywhere, specifically for that gun. Justin and I walked into the camper and went through it all. On his bathroom sink was his gun case. There was no gun in it. When we opened the medicine cabinet, nothing. The next day, Justin's sister cleaned out the bathroom because grandma was coming. No gun. And then the day after that, the pistol was lying there with the clip. It right there. Not hidden, not anything. It was just right there. The following day, when they went back to the trailer, now the key fob for the truck was there. They were wiped down and no one was able to get fingerprints. But literally, the gun showed up out of nowhere, and in the exact same spot that the gun was is where the key fob ended up. So that key fob and gun were not originally there. They came back and they were put back underneath our noses, Candice said. So there's the shed. And this is just mortifying too. So the parents say that at one point in the investigation, the shed near Brenner's camper, a few days later, after Dylan disappeared, Cooley and Round said they, along with law enforcement, watched Brenner spend time in the shed. He pulled the grain truck out and he cleaned it. He was cleaning the shed with law enforcement and us watching him. I saw him take out 4 garbage bags and put them in the back of his pickup. Brenner was charged in Utah on June 23rd with 3 counts of being a restricted person in possession of a firearm. So that's what they've got him on right now. Cooley and Rounds recently visited the shed and said it was full of trash and beer cans. He was not cleaning up garbage that day, so whatever he took out in those bags was to hide right under law enforcement's noses. So yeah, here's where Brenner's camper was. And it's that dirt pile there that his boots got thrown in because James didn't think he was coming back.
Mind you, this all happened within like a few days because Dylan called his grandmother, said he would call her back. He didn't.
Mm-hmm.
She, I think maybe a day later, called Don Wells, who enlisted the help of Jim Brenner.
Mm-hmm.
No, why did I call him Don Wells? It's not Don Wells.
Different
Don.
case. Mm-hmm. Happily, yeah.
And who enlisted the help of Brenner. And they allegedly searched for Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
But there's that whole argument about the unforgiving dirt. If they searched for him, you would see, footprints and whatnot. So he searched for him. Candace, Justin start making the drive down. And he makes that choice, that decision, that thought, he ain't coming back. Let me go place these behind a dirt pile. Because it wasn't like he chucked them, right? Like he got close and chucked them. He went and like placed them.
Right.
Yeah, it's all so.
Yeah, it's not like he didn't go through a lot of effort, let's say, put it that way.
No, and it just totally looks suspicious on him and like almost obvious because, I mean, you already know the person is missing.
Yeah.
You allegedly were trying to help find him. You find his boots, the boots that should be on his feet, the boots that he wears every day.
Yeah.
You find him by the shed and you think, oh, I'm not going to need these.
Yeah, he's not going to need
this
these.
This is weird thing.
Yeah, he's not going to need these. He only buys one pair at a time, but I can't see why he would be wanting them now. Yeah. Not a lot that he said made any kind of
No.
sense, did it?
No. No.
Yeah. And nobody has actually said anything that made any kind of sense.
No.
So let's see here. The parents are frustrated Brenner was not taken into custody that day as he was wanted, as we were talking about, on an outstanding criminal warrant. He was arrested weeks later, and he was not charged in connection with Dylan's disappearance. So Box Elder has been the lead agency, and fair enough, both Candace and Justin are extremely frustrated with them due to and they have made a lot of mistakes, and they have been trying very hard to get another agency to take over.
They're not willing to let it go. They don't want to let it go.
No. It's almost, to me, it makes me wonder if how come I can hear me? They're not willing to admit in any way, shape, or form that they made any kind of mistakes. So if someone else takes over, it might show how shoddy their work has actually been.
They would get investigated themselves, probably.
Exactly. And I mean, they probably need to, because the stuff that I've learned about them over this time has not been great. It's not been great. What am I doing here? It's been very shoddy.
D&D I'd never thought about, that is a very good location. I had never thought about that. But also the cadaver dogs, didn't Candace say something about cadaver dogs? Like she wanted to bring them out, but I think the cops might have told her that it was like a waste of time or something. Was that right?
I can't say for sure, to be honest.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I thought, yeah, don't quote me on that, but I thought I had read something like that from her.
The biggest thing with them is they have not shared any information. And I mean, we've talked about this before, how it can harm an investigation, but they've done some really bad things, like as far as even they'll write out and out lie about things. And, you know, when his family is suffering like that, you can't do it. You can say, we can't get into this with you, but don't go straight out and lie to them.
Yeah. And I think they were trying to pin Justin and Candace, like pit them against each other at the start when they were getting interviewed. Because they were all about it. They wanted to be interviewed. They wanted to be cleared.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to start looking, you know, for their son. And they tried to like pit them together a lot. Lied to them both.
Oh, they did. They did. And I mean, like I was saying, like we've talked about it before, where they do have to keep certain things away from families. And I mean, I understand that. I understand. But right out lying, things like they were supposed to, was it the boots that sat in the back of their truck?
Yeah, the back of their cruiser for like a week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
or something.
Exactly. You've all of a sudden with that, you've got problems with chain of custody. You've got so many different problems all of a sudden. And sadly, they've been constantly kind of screwing up. And, you know, the FBI, and everyone says, well, get the FBI to come in and do this. Well, the sad thing is the FBI won't come in and take over cases. They'll help you, but they won't literally come over and take over cases. It's, I I mean, if they're going from state to state or if they're doing something along those lines.
I mean, maybe at least having like both the state police involved, for Utah and
In Nevada,
yeah, would be
yeah,
a little better, right? That'd be better, right?
yeah,
For
yeah.
Elder.
Yeah, box elder has been the biggest problem. It says here that they have been the lead agency on the case, but both Candace and Justin are frustrated. They believe mistakes have been made in the investigation and want another agency to take over. How can you say they've done their job when they didn't arrest the felon on day one? And that's fair. When the keep was found, when the gun was found, when the boots were found, they literally laughed at us and mocked at us in that desert. In a statement to the East Idaho News, Box Elder County Chief Deputy Cade Palmer said the sheriff's office recently requested an independent review of the investigation. Department of Public Safety, Weber County Sheriff's Office, and Weber County Attorney's Office, investigators reviewed the investigative work that has been done. They established credibility in the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office. With substantial and pertinent evidence, Palmer said, locating Dylan Rounds, protecting the integrity of the investigation, and our ability to impose criminal responsibility upon anyone involved in this disappearance is our utmost priority. Well, they have not shown that. And okay, if they've had somebody review that and they think everything was okay, that's disgusting. Let's see here. Let's watch this. Oh, it's a half hour, so we'll just
I'm Nate Eaton talking with Candace Cooley and Justin Rounds today. These are Dylan Rounds' parents. It's been several months since he disappeared. Start right from the beginning, right before Memorial Day that weekend. Dylan calls his grandmother.
We've seen this stuff.
Those boots, and Dylan hadn't been there.
Yeah, this is the extended version. So you
Yeah.
kind of skip
On his way to Dawn, who also lives out there for lunch.
But going the back way. So if you pull up that picture, that first time Diesel Brothers was out there, you can see, you got the pond over here, you got Brenner's, and you got Dylan's. So Dylan's phone made it to the pond the back way. The only person who takes that back way is Brenner.
Have they retrieved the phone?
Yes.
Do you know, is there any did it salvage any information, or is it
We
dead?
had all this phone information already. We cloned it, and there was nothing.
There's nothing like as far as calls or texts or anything?
Nothing unusual.
What was the date of Saturday?
The 18th of June.
The 18th of June is when they found it. I was there.
Yeah, it was there.
And just to search and rescue, they'd been going across the pond all the way just as they were about to get to the very end. That's when they found it.
Wow.
And you're saying the phone pinged at Brenner's trailer at his property?
Yes.
But he said that he hadn't seen Dylan.
Correct.
Yes. And that he'd been there all
And
day.
that he'd been there all day, but
Friday
he'd never
and
seen
Saturday.
Dylan. But Dylan's phone's
And
pinging
Friday
there.
night, Dylan's phone was pinging out in where he was
Farming.
drilling.
Yep.
It's the Triticale.
Which he had been there. Dylan, had
Yes.
been there.
Yes.
But as far as everything after that phone call to Grandma, while there may have been movement on the phone, you don't know if that was actually him.
No,
holding the
we
phone.
know it wasn't Dylan.
You know it
Well,
wasn't Dylan.
Yeah.
I mean,
We would
Or you
assume.
assume.
yeah,
we would assume it
yeah.
wasn't.
I mean, that's why it wasn't answering. That's
We don't
why.
know when it went up and moved around to the grain shed, if Dylan was with the phone when it went back to Dylan's place.
Yeah.
Or if it went with Dylan. We don't know any of that.
The one thing is all the evidence is at where Brenner was squatting with that shed. So we don't feel it was Dylan going back to the I mean, I think Dylan's phone, but I don't think it was Dylan.
And that's fair enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's all you could know because, I mean, you don't actually know if your son was with the phone, but I mean, it all points to him.
Oh, it does.
Or somebody with Jim,
Mhm.
you know.
How come I can hear myself? Let me see. Am I still hearing me? Oh, I think I got it. Yeah, I mean, the shed's a perfect place to bury him. Yeah, right, Dandy? Have they searched the property with cadaver dogs? I do believe they have. I think they've pretty much done everything that is humanly possible in that desert. Even the Diesel brothers came out with their helicopter and went all over the place. The mob crew was going out there with their drone and looking for things. They've got that Earthworm Productions. I can't remember their names right now, but they go out looking as much as they can. For them, it's like a needle in a haystack because they're on foot. So not going to be an easy thing. Cadaver dogs remind me of the Madeline McCann case. Oh my God, wasn't that sad, Blifton? Oh my word. Utah is shady as yes. Look at the Gabby Petito footage from Moab looking for reasons to not do their job. Isn't, yeah, well said. Well said. He was there all day long digging a hole. Yeah, I think it would take some time. I would. Did the police not get a search warrant? Not until way much later. There had been a lot of things that had happened between them finding out that things were abnormal to there being an actual active search.
Well, I think at the start they just kept treating it like he was an adult, and
Right.
couldn't really, according to them, couldn't really do anything because he was just missing. It wasn't like no crime. There was no evidence of a crime being committed. So like they weren't
Right.
really trying to do anything. So they were letting the parents kind of handle the vehicles. They broke the back window out of the truck to get into it.
Yeah.
They cleaned the bathroom. They kind of cleaned up the trailer.
Yeah.
And yeah, the cops just kind of like let them do this, like, and then they finally kind of started investigating it as something.
Yeah, I know that with the truck being locked, it was not usually locked. So they said to the cops, like, can we get in there? Like, can we break a window or something? And the cops like, yeah, it's your truck.
Yeah.
It's like, but you know what? Candace did end up taking it back and having somebody take a look at it. I don't know whatever came of that.
Yeah.
But she did drive it back to.
Yeah. The thing is, though, with stuff like that, it's, can you come back and try to get something out of it? Sure, maybe. Hopefully there's something there that, but now you're going to be in there. Like all your fingerprints and DNA is going to be also in there. You've moved, maybe you even like moved some of the gears and like.
Yeah.
The chair now is no longer where it was when you first found it. Like the seat. It's
absolutely.
It's like, and you can't now. That's just, even if you try to if you do find something, you try to take it to court.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, like
yeah. I think they have got. I mean, it's all circumstantial, but literally everything points to Brenner.
Yeah.
You know,
because I mean, the only way the key fob and the gun got back into the trailer was because the family had actually left the property to go. Yes. They had gotten a phone call from one of the Wadsworths telling them that Dylan was being held hostage at.
That was Kurt Wadsworth that called that in.
Was it Chase Venstra or? house or?
It was just basically across from the bar. There is like
Yeah.
a kind of a building that I do believe is kind of like boarded up. And Kurt, I mean, the guy's a drunk. I'm sure he was all bombed up and just said, "Listen, I got a call that saying that Dylan is in this building." And
Yeah, being held hostage by, I don't know if it's Chase Venstra or the other guy who's got a funky name. But he was just, okay, let's just say he was being held at this house, right? So
Mhm.
Justin and Candace,
Oh, sorry.
and they call the cops on the way, and like the cops are kind of giving them the runaround. They're like, "Oh, you need to call this department because it's over in Lucin or something like that." So Justin and Candace showed up at the house first, and they were there for a good amount of time
Mhm.
before cops ever showed up. And the only reason I think they put a hustle on it eventually was because Justin was going to go in there.
Oh, hell yeah.
He was going to go guns blazing into that house.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do it fast, like sooner, to be honest.
Well, yeah. They just really have not and did not get a lot of help all the way through.
Yeah.
You know, they were left to their own devices, which is, I mean, it's a major problem. It's what's caused this delay in justice.
I mean,
Nothing was done properly.
how helpless can you be at, like, how much worse can you make it? Like, they're already missing their child, and then you're kind of just leaving them out,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, to their own devices, and
Yeah.
they're just helpless. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
they obviously can't take the legal stuff into their own hands. They can't do that. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, they're restricted in a lot of ways. And it's why they wanted Box Elder gone. And I don't blame them. How anybody found them competent, I have no idea. Because it was literally probably one of the worst cluster Fs that I've seen in a long time as far as a case goes.
yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing. In the middle of a desert, it does not take long. You know, there's coyotes, there's, like you say, there's buzzards, there's so many different predators out there that even if he had been just left
And how far
somewhere.
could have, like, Brenner even gotten? Because I think his vehicle couldn't go that far. He had a horse. Did John have a vehicle?
Yeah.
I guess they could have used Dylan's truck, which would explain why the key fob was not where it was supposed to be.
And why it was spray washed, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Want to listen to a little bit more?
So let's talk about his Dylan's truck that was there on the property. You originally went out there and you guys got inside, right?
Broke the window. Just
Broke the window to get inside because you didn't have the key fob to unlock
Correct.
it. And what did you find in the truck?
Nothing.
Nothing unusual.
What we were looking for wasn't there. The gun.
The gun. That's all we were looking for.
So sometime overnight, you're saying someone entered and put the gun there.
Yep. Next day, okay, so at this point, Box Elder is there. They're taking pictures. Next day, the key fob comes back, same exact location. Somebody was putting his stuff back. And at this point, Box Elder is still not saying this is a crime scene, something's going on out here. Nothing. People are everywhere. They do nothing about it.
So did you all find the gun and the key fob?
It was my son and Dylan's friend.
Yeah.
That walked in the trailer and said, "Oh, it's here."
Yeah.
I don't even think that they knew it was missing.
No, they didn't even know we were looking for it.
Because they weren't there when we broke the window and were looking.
But you're sure it wasn't there the first time?
Oh, absolutely not.
From what I heard, law enforcement had taken pictures.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in the pictures.
Yeah, it absolutely was not there. Neither one of them. And so when Dylan's grandparents brought the extra key fob, I set it in the exact same location. Walked to his pickup, hit the button, and it would unlock. It was close enough; it would still unlock it. That key fob and that gun were not there. They came back, and there was really only 2 people out there with access. We're not going to release, but the problem with the shed is on June 2nd, Brenner pulled the grain truck out on his own and cleaned it.
Was cleaning the shed.
Cleaning
the law
the
enforcement
shed.
there. With us
Watching
there.
him. Said they can't do anything. I seen him take out 4. I seen him take out 4 garbage bags and put them in the back of his pickup. Now, you'll see when the Diesel Brothers interviews released, we did the interview from inside the shed. Trust me, he wasn't cleaning up garbage. It is full of his beer cans and garbage. Whatever he took out in those bags was to hide what
Right
he
under
did.
law enforcement.
Right under.
So yeah, right under law enforcement's nose. They sat right there and watched him and did nothing and said they could do nothing, even though the guy had an outstanding warrant. And the grain truck was not his. And the grain shed was not his.
Yes. And I don't even think he had permission to be on that property, did he?
Yeah, he did.
From the actual owner?
Yes. Yeah, they had that trailer moved out there, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to swear by that part,
Well,
actually.
I thought
But
that Jared Wadsworth and Don Wells put that trailer out there.
Don Hadley?
Yes. Why do I keep calling him Don Wells?
Yeah. They did have the owner's permission, and I do believe that it was Kurt that took him out there. So originally, the trailer that Brenner was staying in out in the bush, it burnt down. And he ended up in Montello. And after a while, they wanted him the hell out of Montello. So they took him out and put him in this trailer in the middle of the desert. And yeah, and I guess he just got very territorial about the whole damn desert because
John freaking Logan.
Don Logan.
There's a lot of Dons.
Oh my word.
There's too many Dons. Like,
well, look at this case that we're working on right now with all the Jacks.
yeah.
Oh my word. Yeah.
Jack, Joe, Joseph, Jake,
Jacob,
yeah. John, Jake.
Yeah, and Jack John.
Yeah,
And then there's Jack John. Good Lord. Let's see here.
Under their
and our
nose.
nose.
So you're saying that there's still garbage in there?
Oh,
It's
full
not
of
like
it.
he
That's all it
removed
is.
it.
Filthy.
He was specifically cleaning up specific stuff
While he had a warrant
while he had a felony warrant for aggravated assault
with officers outside.
and a
walking
19
around.
missing year old. 19-year-old missing.
Missing.
Yes. So none of it adds up.
I guess you don't know where those garbage bags ended up.
No clue. More than likely, when they went to Wendover that Friday, they took him. Would be my guess.
Jim and Don when
Yep.
we went to Windover.
So, in case someone's just tuning in, James Brenner has been arrested on an outstanding warrant and is in jail. He's a person of interest. Is that
No,
what
he's a suspect.
he is? The suspect.
He is the one and only suspect.
in Dylan's
For now.
disappearance,
For
which
now,
they're now
yeah.
calling a homicide.
Well, they say they're treating it as a homicide investigation, but no, Box Elder has not switched it. It is still missing person / criminal.
Okay.
It has not been switched. So when Palmer said that, that was to appease the public. If you're going to say we're treating it as a homicide investigation, you need to change it so we can get more resources and more help.
Palmer being the chief deputy for the Box Elder County
Yes.
Sheriff's Office, his deputy, Cade Palmer, told ABC4 News in Salt Lake that there's substantial evidence that it was a homicide. So the interesting thing that I've also learned is that apparently Mr. Brenner's been in contact with your family,
Yeah, with Justin.
which doesn't happen a lot when a suspect, but have you all spoken with him?
So that's something else that's interesting. James Brenner started calling Justin's mom, Dylan's grandmother. And at first, they just kind of talked to him to appease him, see what they could learn. And finally, one day, the grandma said to her, basically, like, what happened? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, can't talk to you. Lawyer's got to talk to you. I think what he was trying to do was just talk to them, show him what a nice guy he was. And once he realized that he wasn't fooling anybody, conversations ended.
I knew like they had known, like the family kind of had some connection prior to these guys, to James. But how did he get grandma's phone number?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if it's listed or not, or I don't know how he would have got grandma's phone number. But yeah, he started calling grandma, and I do believe he called Justin for a little while too. I don't know how long that went on. But yeah, maybe grandma's listed or something. I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Do they hand you phone books in prison?
Do they what?
Do they
phone books?
Are phone books available in prison?
I don't know. I don't know. 411. I don't know what you. I don't know what.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I know that they can make calls. Yeah, well, I'm talking Canada, right? This is where it gets a little tricky for me because the US laws are so different and I never know what state does what. They're all handled differently state to state, so I get confused. Canada, we're pretty much the same across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You
everything's
guys are pretty lax with your
Yeah. We don't have
what's your max for murder there?
Earliest parole is 25 years, but that does not mean you're going to get it. It's 25 years before you can ask for parole.
They usually get it though, right?
No.
No.
A lot of them don't. No, not the bad guys. Not the ones that shouldn't see daylight.
Right, because
No,
there's
like
a whole
say-
bunch of them running around that Canada
Yeah.
doesn't know about or knows about, but doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely crimes that are in the different cities that you would think would be a serial offender. But to me, they're all over the place. You know, there's a lot of whack jobs running around out there. And
yeah,
I
what
mean,
did they say? There's like how many active serial killers can there be at one time?
Many.
There's like an actual
statistics.
Oh, wait, nope, that's a video. No. But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of them. If I could find it. Operating at one time. That you just don't ever even. The I-70 killer. That's a good one that could be talked about. But I feel like Canada has double that. Like double whatever the United States serial killer on the loose would be. Canada has double that.
That's funny. We really don't have that many. Like, yeah, like we don't really have that many. Now, how many are active in each area? I don't know. I guess it probably depends on population. You know, we've had like the Highway of Tears, which has been major. So yeah, there's quite a few different.
Can I share my screen really quick? Because I just want to see. I'm shook.
Yeah, absolutely.
But don't close out what you have on yours. So we'll come back to that. I just want to show this. You can see that? Good.
You bet.
So this is somebody mapped it out. It's so nice. This is this serial killers by state in 2022. But serial killers altogether, that's like 13,000.
I believe it.
13.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that scary?
I just need case because wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just imagine you're walking down the street, serial killer.
Yeah.
Half a serial killer. Every time you're walking, that's half a serial killer.
Right? Blifton, I actually put Paul Bernardo and Carla into Discord. I have to double check.
Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to start building on that. So feel free to jump in, add what you want.
Pick a state. I think Dandy from Context Clues, I think, is from Colorado. I don't know. I'm trying. 161 serial killers
Active at one time. Yeah.
in the state. Watch out.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the F out.
Oh, Carla's been out for way too long. And she's had kids, girls. I think Quebec took her.
I think New York's killing, like literally the game is killing there. It's 677.
Oh, wow.
984 in Texas. Oh my Jesus.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of active. What's in Colorado, Dandy asked.
Oh, I don't know. I was just like thinking Rocky
Let's see.
Mountains. Like,
how many in Colorado?
in Colorado, there's 161. Oh, serial killer victims. 2.72%. Sorry, my mistake. It's serial killer victims per 1,000 people. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
Yeah, spooky, right? How many, like...
I closed it. I can't. I'm starting to like... I'm starting to get like an anxiety attack just thinking about it. Like, doing the math. I'm like, what are the odds that I'm going to bump it? Oh, no.
I'll put some more here on Dylan.
No, Justin, you haven't. What have those conversations been like?
Oh, he's been hinting toward Chase. He won't say his name because it's a conflict of interest or something.
Chase Venstra is another person who's still in jail, but not in connection with this case again, who also lived out there.
Yeah.
No, he did not live out there.
Or he was visiting.
He'd just go back and forth.
He'd go back and forth. So he wasn't living out there permanently, but Dylan knew him.
No.
Kind of. No.
Just ran into him.
Just ran into him.
Knew of him.
Yeah.
The barefooted man.
The barefooted
that
man.
In the beginning was this suspicious man. Yes. So what James Brenner's telling you, or trying to point a finger to Chase.
Mm-hmm. And trying to tell us to search the road that goes into Clinton, Utah, and take a four-wheeler. He wanted us to take a four-wheeler and time it. But what he doesn't know, I guess, is that Chase Venstra at 7 in the morning, I believe, was on camera at the Flying J in Snowville, Utah at 7 a.m. of that Saturday morning.
The day Dylan disappeared.
The day Dylan disappeared. The day Dylan was that morning when...
That's the first I've heard that.
He'd called my mom at what time?
6:51.
6:51. So Chase was in Snowville at 7:30 or something.
And how far away is Snowville?
It's an hour and a half drive from there.
And then he was seen later in the day.
In Clinton, I think in Clinton, Utah, in a KFC on camera.
on
Wow.
camera.
Interesting.
And they pulled his phone
So
records.
Jim was just leaning me towards him. He wanted to talk to me and Dawn and talk about a place that Dylan had hid some stuff on Dylan's property, which I have no idea where that would be. It's a flat piece of ground.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine where. And when we were out there with Diesel Brothers, I drove all around again because
Yeah.
we second guess ourselves. I do
Yeah.
all
We
the
both,
time.
constantly going through the same things.
We checked the grain truck. I don't know how many times at the very beginning. I still wondered if I'd checked it enough.
Wow.
The slap. Like, no, we know, we got the evidence. We know you did something to Dylan.
Larry and
Just tell
Karen
us.
are your parents.
Yes.
Okay. So that's interesting. Do you hope to talk to him again?
Yeah, I don't want to talk to him. I don't like talking to him even one bit. But yeah, I would like to talk to him and see what he has to say a little more.
In hopes of getting
Hopes
some
of
information.
something comes out.
Yeah.
So you've told us about the boots, which were moved, that he admitted to moving, the phone that was found in the pond, the gun and the key fob that were found inside of his trailer. As you're learning all this, I'm sure you're saying the evidence is mounting and pointing to this person.
Yes.
And is that just
Yes.
becoming frustrated because we
It's-
still don't know where Dylan
It
is?
is overwhelming for us to have to, and like Jess said, we will have the same conversation 15 times and still not remember what each other said and have to have it again because it is so overwhelming that, they shut us out. They had all of this evidence besides the phone in the first 3 days and they did nothing.
Whoa, hey. Literally, first 3 days. Yeah, exactly, Dandy. Blown away by those numbers. Makes me want to stay even farther inside my home. It's true. I know. Luca, oh my God. Do you remember when Luca started that rumor about him and Carla? He liked his face out there, didn't he? Unreal. So again, in Discord, we've got, I've got Luca in there as well. What I'm trying to do with my Discord is basically cover and give information on the cases, of course, the active ones, but I also want to place a one for people to go over historic things or things that are like not that too long ago. They're not active, but it's been within the last 10, 15 years.
I think, and Bluffton brought up Madeline McCann.
Yes. We
Yep.
should add her.
Yes. I was going to say you should add her also, but there's
Mhm.
a couple of things that have come out recently regarding her. So it'd just be really good to, just go over it.
Well, have they charged that one guy in Madeline's death yet?
I haven't kept up with it in like a few months, but I think the last thing I heard was something about the parents losing some kind of court case. Like they were trying to. This is why I want to look it up and kind of.
I'll put a Madeline McCann in there. Yeah. So I do have a place for like Europe. And what I'll do is I'll just make those into, like, I'll put them in Europe, but I'll start to break them up. I think I just have Europe as one group, but I'll put Europe instead of as a channel, I'll make it like a group. And that way we can do all the different cases from England and all the different, because there's so many, there's so many.
And the Madeline McCann, I think, was, that was probably like one of the first cases that I really got just completely infatuated with. Like one of the first real crimes I think I really started looking at, and I was young when that happened. It was
okay.
News, you went to stores checking out, there was those magazines, like the tabloid magazines with her face all over them for years.
Yeah.
So it just
just a beautiful little baby. She was
cute.
Yeah. So Bluffton, with that said, I absolutely agree with that. I was way, way too close, or had one that was way, way too close to my vicinity for a fair amount of time. We all knew he was doing what he was doing, but the cops did an illegal search, so everything that they found could not be used. And he basically stayed out. He didn't, and I've got a story as to how this character was in the vicinity of me, but we'll get into that one like another time.
Yeah. And
But-
when you're in Canada, that's like 3 times the likelihood that they're going to be. There's so.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love messing with Frankie about this. 'Cause there really is like a whole bunch of them that just.
Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Canada's had some, oh my God, characters out there.
The Piggy
that-
Palace.
Oh, yeah. I've got Picton in there. Yeah, he's in Discord as well. So I put my email address on the banner below. And that way, if there's cases that you guys want to talk about, feel free to throw it in an email. And yeah, just even any comments about,
Or theories.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, whatever.
So,
It is, yeah.
yeah, hit me up and we can do this. Christmas is coming, so I know Mexi's got some plans. So I'm not. She's leaving.
I'm
on a
unplugging.
jet
Is that what it's
plane.
called? Unplugging when you're away from.
It's called unplugging.
When you're away from like social media and like any kind of working internet source, and
So I'm half unplugged. Living in the Rockies, yeah. So let's see. There's also him. There's also a Bundy in the Discord as well. Did he? All serial killered out.
This
Yeah, he's not one that you really wanted to have in your
he was
vicinity,
such
is
a
he?
charmer.
Oh my
Holy,
God.
he had the looks.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
had the intelligence. He was a smart guy. Could keep a conversation. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
my.
And I mean, he played every trick in the book to get people. He'd be walking with crutches. He'd be dropping things. Can you help me get this into my car? So while I was putting the Bundy together on Discord, I found pictures of his Volkswagen. Oh, Zodiac. Yes. Jack the Ripper. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Remind me in Discord, Bliff, and I will I'll add those.
Have you done the Black Dahlia yet?
I got that in there.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, I got Black Dahlia. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, we're going to try and have our What the Hell Wednesdays weekly. And like I said, with Christmas coming up, it's hard to say. I'm probably going to.
That's a good question, Danny. Let me look it up. How?
Yeah, do it.
Active serial killer. Canada.
How many psychos in Canada? I like the wording. Everyone but me, right? You're in Eastern Canada, right, Bluffton? If I remember correctly.
Oh my gosh. Like, have you guys ever seen the newsroom speech where he talks about America's not the greatest country anymore? We lead in 0 things, like not education, not math, not reading, not intelligence, not a damn thing. But we damn sure do lead the countries in serial killers with 3.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
South Africa has 117.
So-
Canada coming in a good like bronze, is that right? Bronze for third at 106.
yeah. When we get them out here, they're big and they're bad. So like Homolka. And what was that guy's bliff? The sergeant with the Air Force.
Oh,
Do you remember
yeah.
his name? There's
You
him.
have him in your thing too.
Colonel
You would
Russell.
put on a lingerie. I remember him in that red lingerie
Yeah.
thing. Oh my
Just
god.
what somebody flying their queen
Weirdos.
hanging upside down in his pantyhose. It's like, what? Yeah, Ontario. Well, it's populated. I'm out west, so the major part of the population is in Eastern Canada. So they probably, I mean, I wouldn't say per capita, but it will look like they have a lot more than this side. But I mean, man, we got Piggy Palace, we got Clifford Olson.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
And I'm
my
still not
word.
convinced that highway guy isn't from Canada.
That highway guy?
Yeah, the Highway of Tears. Because that also goes through Oregon. You know how there's a few there's a couple of serial killing, like some murders that happen in Oregon on like a different kind of stretch of highway, but it's very, very close.
It is close, and it was before you had to worry about passports. You could just like drive.
Right. Twin times were good.
So yeah, so there would be like our Highway 16 killers would go straight in, if they're truck drivers especially, straight into the US, no problem, kill whoever they wanted to. So yeah, it does stretch into the US, especially before the borders were sealed like they are. And I can't remember that nurse's name. I can't remember.
That's not the angel of death, right? Or because I know there is someone that's called that. The angel of death, like a doctor.
That was Kevorkian, wasn't it? Dr. Kevorkian.
Was that his name?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure yeah. Him and his like
that would be the last guy. Like if I walked in to like the emergency room for like stitches or anything, like I'm just like, oh my gosh, something in my chest. And this guy walked in and he was like, hi, I'm Dr. Kevorkian. He was like, nope. Anyone else?
Dandy, I was just telling Mekci about him. And he's out, hey? Last I heard, unless something's...
Oh, the guy that like almost ate
on the Greyhound.
And he was like running up and down with the guy. Yeah, that was...
Totally. That's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he's out. I think he got institutionalized for X amount of time. And they figured that he's all cured and what have you until he gets on his next Greyhound.
How do you actually get cured from that?
Oh my God.
Like for instance, what's that one frat boy's name? Frosty.
Oh yeah. Osty Frosty.
Osty Frosty, man.
Did you guys hear him?
This guy apparently had, because they did a toxicology on him, and it showed that apparently he had
nothing in his system.
Yeah, no drugs in his
motor
system.
Oil.
But this dude thought he was like a werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
He went nuts, was walking down a neighborhood one day. There was like a couple that was chilling in their garage. They had it set up with like a TV in there. They were just hanging out, drinking a couple beers. And he ran up to like the garage and pretty much killed them, but was eating them. He was like literally eating them alive.
Yeah, that guy that stopped, like, seen that his neighbors were getting attacked. He he said like I need some help. He's eating my friends, basically. It's like, oh.
And they like unleashed the dogs on him. And like the dogs would bite onto him and kind of pull him away, and he would just yank his arm away and just continue.
This is Osty Frosty.
Yeah. And he was found innocent due to mental competence, deficiency, whatever.
Well, look at him here. And he looks like a nice kid.
Yeah.
But look at him here.
Did you hear some of the statements that were read at the end of that court?
Do you know what? I did not watch it.
There was one lady that came up and like she called out his whole family who was sitting in the courtroom. She was saying that his dad, who's a dentist, was so unprofessional and racist. Like mentioned a few things that he had said when he was working on patients, and Austin would call. He would have his patients talk to him on the phone while he was working on them. Called out his mom, and like his sister was like sitting in the back of the courtroom, I guess, and like shook her head while she was saying something. And she was like, "Yeah, I see you shaking your head back there. Like, you're just as guilty. You should have done something." Like,
really?
Yeah, like the statements from the family at the end of that was brutal.
Oh, wow, You know, and this is the thing, like with mental illness, like it's not always that detectable until they do something like outrageous. Like talking about this guy on the Greyhound, I don't think there was really a lot of heads up that he was going to go like do what he did.
What Austin had said, I think he had asked his dad if he had scheduled that appointment with a psychologist or psychiatrist, because he needed to talk to somebody. He even himself admitted that. But here's the thing. He was an adult. He's an adult now. He was at the time.
I think his mental health was in such a state that he probably couldn't change his own panties. You know, he did not sound like he was in a good way at that point, even though he was an adult. I don't think he was competent adult and probably needed help from his family.
And I mean, you could see the change because he was posting things on the internet and stuff. And you could see that personality.
Sorry, I seen that. Sorry.
I mean, it's so, just to kind of make light of things, it's so like difficult. You can't even walk outside. Like you can't go take a walk in the park and like look at fish, or go bird watching without being like worried about getting killed by some
it's true,
idiot, even a car accident, whatever. And now you got to worry about people eating you too. Like,
it's crazy. I mean, it's just it is. Yeah, it's all fun and games until someone eats your face off. But you know what? We're all like-minded in here when it comes to that sort of thing. Like, we do understand that sometimes like the darker sense of humor it's almost required to keep carrying on in this type of
sane, to keep somewhat of some logical sanity.
Yeah. It's not ever meant as disrespect to anybody or any families. It's just literally you have to do something just to break up that basically horror. And we are a bunch of crime nerds. So this is what we do. I'm sure everybody is looking at the same type of things. It's an interest. So we do know that it's got to get a little bit lighter every once in a while and get you ready for the next one. literally. You take deep dives into these cases, and sometimes you got to step back.
Mhm.
So I just like this What the Hell Wednesday. We can check out whoever, and I'm looking forward to getting some emails and see what we can do as far as, because we're going to try and do this, not quite the same idea, but we want to focus on somebody on Saturdays as well, do the teamwork. So the more suggestions that we get, the better. During the week, for the most part, I am trying to get, right now I'm trying to get stuff out as far as the kids that are in Moscow. We're sadly in Moscow, Idaho. And that case there, it's dark. Like, that's a dark place to go. But these kids, they need justice. And how do you guys feel? Do you think that they're making any headway? Like, what do you think, Mekci? Are they making headway on this case and they're just not telling us?
I have no idea. I mean, obviously, I know there's things that they're not telling us. They obviously know a lot of things that we don't know, as far as who was killed first,
Injuries. Yeah.
second, third, from blood trails, and
Right.
that's really important to know.
Absolutely.
Because that right there, if you know that information, that gives you a good idea of if it was targeted, or if someone was targeted first, or they obviously know if there was one that was worse than the others.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So that would tell them a lot about the perpetrator and the movements and
possibly even motivations, right?
yeah, exactly. So all we're doing is just speculation with the information that we have, but they more than likely know a lot more than we know.
So what do you think about this white car that was just recently seen on the gas station footage? Do you think that's the white car? Do you think that's...
I don't know. I don't say it.
Yeah.
That footage is, guys, if you have a standard operating system, Windows, you can take screenshots using Snippet. Okay, you don't have to take a picture from your phone onto your screen.
Yeah, I would probably have done the same thing as her, sadly. I wouldn't have thought of Snippet.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, come on, you got to be a millennial, like, working there. I just figured, come on, like,
that they should have known that they could do that.
Picture that we even have from that is short of a potato.
Yeah, I mean, that picture, you can see her camera. You can
it could be a '96 Pontiac, for all I know, from the blurriness and the way it's.
Well, hopefully, the cops took that actual footage. It sounds like there was 8 hours of footage on that tape, or on that, I guess, I don't know what it is, but it sounded like there was something like 8 hours of stuff to go over. And then there's all of a sudden this car that was supposedly screaming down the...
I mean, assuming that that's the same car that was allegedly seen in the area.
I know.
On the day of...
Yeah.
Let's just all pretend that it is the same car, right?
Yeah.
What were they doing over there? That, I mean, that has to be someone that lives over there, or maybe they were taking a back route, but like to avoid.
Yeah. Or maybe they were leaving town.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were on 8, and I don't like, but she said that they, well, this is according to the
clerk.
Yeah, the person that works at the store, that she saw them turn down a side street
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, they turned right on 8th or something, she said.
Hmm.
Again, don't quote me, but it's in our notes there.
And I mean, if that's correct, if they turn towards 8th, that's a huge neighborhood with a network of streets
Right.
that you can zigzag out of or just take straight shots to get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like if you were trying to avoid.
And
big
that car
streets.
was, I mean, I think that that one time we looked on the map, it's like what, only 3 miles in diameter?
Mhm.
And they're saying that this car was 4 miles away. So I'm assuming the very outskirts somewhere.
I actually have a picture of that with like possible routes
Oh, okay.
that I made.
I'm not 100% in the car, but I do believe police are just waiting on the evidence to present for an arrest. They're not dumb. You see, I'm with you, Dandy. They're really getting criticized, but I don't know, playing dumb, they don't have to tell us anything. They can lie to us. So I like to think that they've got more. I mean, the businesses have to have cameras other than the gas station.
Yeah.
And
And
there's got to be doorbell footage somewhere. I
And a
mean,
lot more houses have their own cameras these days. So, I mean, they're still taking a risk.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
I'm sharing my screen, I just want to show you guys real quick of.
Hey. There you go.
So this pink right here, the house, right? So assuming that white car would be in this area, and there's several ways to get out of here.
Absolutely.
And then still kind of end up by the store, which is this camera where that picture comes from. But I just did this route because it fit in my screen. So yeah, they would just have to go through Taylor, make a quick right, and then they'd have a straight shot and kind of cross in front of the store and then by the side of it.
Right.
And 8th Street is somewhere over here. And if that is correct, where they turn towards 8th Street, I mean, you guys can kind of see all the network.
It would have been going Blyfton. It would have been coming back because I think it was spotted at 3:45.
Yeah. Yeah, but they can just get lost in
that whole area. It's all residential
network of streets that takes you pretty much anywhere you want to go, or back to your location if you wanted to avoid going through the university and then avoid main streets.
Yeah. Yeah. So it looks busy, but the population is what, 26,000? Let's hope that they've got footage, more footage. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an arrest. I really wouldn't. As much as I worry, you're sad for these parents and these families. I'd like to see some of them like just kind of take a breath and realize that it's going to take time and rushing this and,
putting out info that shouldn't be out.
Yeah, they could have really hurt their daughter's case. So, but I also thought, can't like the law basically make him and sadly even incarcerate him or do something for interfering with a case?
I mean, if they want to be douches like that, yeah. Like if you really want to lock up a grieving father who's just
I think they would, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? If he was interfering in their case, I bet they would. That he would.
But they could easily just, a simpler way of doing it is just that they stop giving out any sort of information.
Yeah. Yeah. Contempt of court? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna I just wanna see this get solved, and I do, just feel bad for those families.
Well,
This is very
contempt of court
horrifying.
would be if there was a case, an ongoing case. This would be more like interfering with an investigation and
Okay.
impeding an ongoing investigation.
Impeding an ongoing that makes sense, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So you know what? We have been doing this for 2.5 hours, everybody. So I'm thinking that's what I think there would have to be a gag order. That's the most direct route. Someone else showed a totally different route and it was kind of wonky. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to think also, they were caught in that camera at 3:45. I'm just gonna do something really, really quickly. I
Absolutely.
already have it up anyway. I think it's less than a mile, maybe. That's just my guess, but we'll see.
Oh, there we go.
There's the store where the surveillance got picked up. That picture.
Okay.
Here's the house. Well, I guess I can go this way. Well, we'll just go as the crows fly. Yeah, less than a mile as the crow flies. About a mile.
Wow, eh?
So, and that would be the most direct route. But you have to think, they got caught on this camera at 3:45. There was cops right here.
Yep.
And if that was to be the most direct route, they would actually have to probably come across these guys. Maybe. Because they were in an unmarked car, so you don't really know if they left or not. They'd probably hang out for a second and make sure that those kids that they just gave tickets to, like,
Mm-hmm.
actually walk away to where they're supposed to.
Right.
So that would be a dangerous way to take. Like, that would be the straight route, like going Taylor to Lauder,
Yeah.
and then it
Would-
just be straight over to across the store.
Tampering. Okay.
But they could take the back way. If they parked back here somewhere,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be too hard just to get on like this. Is that Wallenetta? Wallenetta?
Yeah.
Wallenetta.
I know what I've heard as far as where the car was seen, but I have not seen it. It hasn't been put out by police. So I can't call it gospel.
Right in that video that you have for the intro,
Mhm.
there's like a little section that shows them taking pictures out front.
Yep, skid marks.
Yeah.
And they're saying that those tires do match up to that vehicle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, because it was so specific. Like, I wondered if those tests came back and then they knew that it was like a 2011, 2013.
Right.
And then the white part came from, like, the white vehicle part came from, like, maybe a camera or a witness.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I hope they got a better view of that car for law enforcement, you know. One person was saying that one of those cars were also at the university, and I don't know if that's the case or not.
I did receive that picture. I actually went and looked at it myself. That's a 2018 Hyundai.
Oh, okay.
But I can't exclude that because we don't know if the reason that tip is so specific is because of testing results that they got back? Or if it was just somebody's best guess, like witness statement, best guess saying, oh, that's what that car was.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
we don't know. Like, so you can't really
Exactly.
exclude any Hyundai.
Yeah. And I think you're right, Dandy. I think that's probably what shut him down a little bit, because there's not going to be a lawyer that's going to say, yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
Mm.
You know,
Maybe,
I know
he
he's
was
just,
like the tough guy and actually broke it down to him and was like, listen, you're the one that's going to end up affecting your daughter's case.
Yeah.
Just honest.
Well, absolutely. And looking out for his best interest, because
absolutely.
it could very well jeopardize the case, the stuff that was going on. It was funny. I watched the daughter give an interview today, and she said, we don't know that. And I'll be honest with you, if we did, we wouldn't tell you. And I'm like, what?
Okay.
Okay, you might, but your dad will.
Yeah. You might know, but your dad definitely.
Your dad will.
He'll let it slip. I know he will.
But yeah, I think Dandy's right. He's probably got a lawyer that's like, back off. Like,
yeah.
I mean, a person gets it. It's not that a person doesn't have compassion, and a person understands what is in his mind. Like, I understand what his reasonings are. I get it. But ultimately, just leave it be.
Yeah.
And
that's hard. That
in
itself is hard, like letting it be, not knowing is terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. Not knowing is a terrible feeling.
It's always the worst feeling. It's always any situation. Not knowing is scarier than, you can sit there and work yourself up and then realize, like, I'll just, based on something not this serious, but you can work something yourself into some kind of tizzy, thinking something's the right way or this certain way, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, that wasn't the way it was. And I just put myself through all of that.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's stress. And for me, I know I said this earlier. I said it earlier to you today, but I say this at work all the time. It's a hurry up and wait game.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. That's the worst part. It's always the worst part. The hurry up
and wait.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I think they're going to get justice. I
hope so. I mean, I think it's going to, I mean, I said it last time, we should be prepared to have it take a while.
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot to this case. Yeah, there is a lot to it. There's 4 people. One is bad enough.
Yeah. I find it funny that Blifton used the cover your ears, but they're in chat. So you already read the comment.
So you know what? I think do you have anything else last minute, Mekci? I think I'm about ready to.
No. Oh, I do want to wish, if this is going to be the last time I talk to everybody out loud, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday.
Awesome.
Happy New Year.
I'm going to be bugging you when you're at it. State.
If I have any service, I'll try to respond. For sure. But I hope everyone stays safe and away from serial killers.
Yeah, stay away from those bastards. Okay, guys, thanks again for being here. It was a long one, but I enjoyed it. So thanks, Mekci.
I'm kind of odd. Bye, guys.
Bye.